So, we are here, and I am ecstatically excited. Why? Why are we excited, Jared?
Because we're opening up our new toys today.
We are, but what toys are we opening? We are opening, the first thing that we're opening is the Republic's Guardians of the Republic box. Now, I have been, and Jared will contest to this.
Yes, he's been waiting a long time for this.
Since they announced that they were going to be putting out Clone Wars, and the Republic was going to be one of them, I also started watching Clone Wars, Star Wars.
Yeah, finally.
Finally. So I was getting even more into it. So knowing the characters that they were releasing for this box, was extremely excited for me even more because the fact that I started watching Clone Wars. I'm telling you, since they've been released, I cannot wait to see what these ships can do. And they're going like crazy. Like as soon as they come out, once again, FFG has short-shipped stores for product because they didn't predict how much they would actually be selling. So we now officially have 7 factions for X-Wing.
Yeah, which is crazy. But
So
in a good way.
In a good way. So we're going to open up Guardians of the Republic. Why?
Is that what they call it? Guardians of the Republic.
Guardians of the Republic. So I have been really waiting to see these ships. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, just get the box open.
So
Before we do that, one complaint I have about this box is you have a little bit of cardboard, you have a couple ships that go there, and like 2 inches of nothingness.
I do believe that FFG needs to
reschedule
reschedule or relook at the fact that they are putting too much product. The boxes are a little bit too big.
Well, no, my thing is since 2.0 has come up, every ship has increased in cost by $10.
This is true.
And if that $10 is just for the silly, fancy packaging, which is gorgeous,
hey, you know
but
what?
I'd rather keep the $10.
These boxes, like the colors that have been introduced with X-Wing 2.0 is truly unreal. So here we go.
The packaging is sweet. I'm just a little miffed that everything's $10 more.
So here we go. We have
What is that thing?
the Turret Starfighter. So these are the little clone starfighters when they're not playing the.
Not a good close up, but
We'll try to get a close up on them. When they're not like on the ground fighting, a lot of clones are fighting in these with Jedis. And one, and then the Delta 7. I can't say that word. What's that word? Asaphir, whatever. Asaphite.
I call it the Diamond Fighters.
He calls them the Diamond Fighters, but these are. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi's. The paint job is Obi-Wan Kenobi's.
Yeah.
So this is his fighter, along with the 2 turrets, which are probably a couple of his guys playing because you actually. So let's see cards. I wonder if we should put some of them on bases. Maybe they can see them on bases.
Well, here, you put them on bases, I'll look at the cards. How come you got extra dials in here?
Oh yes. Okay, so the dials. I already bought one of these, by the way. So this is the second one I bought. So the V19 Torrent.
Yeah.
When they originally released the box set, when they first came out with it, the dials were misprinted. So they give you 2 new dials that you're supposed to actually use, and not the ones that are in the original packaging, because they're a misprinted dial. There's a misprint on those dials compared to these dials.
What's the difference?
Nothing, actually.
No, 4, 1, all the way around 1, 2. There is a difference. This has a soft 2 and a hard 2, and on here it gives you 2 soft 2s. So that is.
So there was a misprint in the dials. So you're supposed to be using. So when you open up your Guardians of the Republic, the dials that are in the actual cardboard
Toss them.
Are garbage. They're not used. Don't use them. Make sure you use the ones in the small package that they give you. Okay. So in this package, as normal, we have a good amount of cards because this is pretty much like the starter kit for the Republic, pretty much. So you get like 3 ships, like you normally would. I like having them too high, but
well, it's easier for them to see if we give it some height. But one thing I noticed is these ships. Like even on my
the
Servant of Strife, they're small.
They're small.
They're really small.
There's way smaller ships, but I mean it makes sense because if you actually look at a Jedi Delta 7 fighter on any of the shows, they're not very big, and the turrets are not very big either. The one thing I was a little bit interestedly wondering why is I thought that these particular fighters, these wings on the out ones are like actually fold up. When they land, but anyways. So, as normal, in the cards, you have preset, they give you 5 different types of loadouts that you can play. And these, if you actually look at these loadouts, and I was looking at other loadouts that we had prior, these loadouts actually are totally and utterly different because there's stuff that they don't have in here that is not actually on that you're allowed to load the ship out with.
Well, they do that with the loadouts, is they make it competitive.
These are different. These are different loadouts that they've allowed certain unrestricted access to for you to be able to play in the tournaments with the new deluxe kits that they have out. They have like a themed thing. So these way the loadout works out. So those are definitely, don't throw them away. Keep them.
Yeah, I think so. If you haven't tried playing games with these things,
I would try them.
You really need to sit down with your buddies and just do it for the hell of it because you'd be surprised at how competitive, and actually they put some thought into the designs. You're missing a good part of the game if you ignore those cards.
So I would not
for the fun play.
So out of the starter kit of the Guardians of the Republic are the following pilots. You get Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, they won't be able to see it. What's so special about him? After a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 spends a focus token, you may spend 1 force token. If you do, that ship gains 1 focus token.
And
so basically you hand out replacement focus tokens with him.
Yeah. And they have the Delta 7s have a special ship addition to it. It's called Fine-Tuned Controls. Yeah. So any of these Delta 7s, you're allowed to use there's fine-tuned controls as an addition to your actions. So you spend one of their force actions, which allows you to do a boost or a barrel roll with the Delta 7s.
Do they all have?
They all have that.
So they're all Jedis in these things?
Yeah. Well, no, not... yes, that's correct.
Are they expensive?
Some of them are very expensive, but not overly. I can actually fit 4 Delta 7 Jedi Knights. The Jedi Knight, the PS3 skill pilot, which has the fine-tuned controls but doesn't have any special abilities. I could actually fit 4 of those ships on one loadout with a few additional stuff. But I actually have a loadout where I had 3 Jedi Knights and I have Ahsoka Tano with them.
Yeah. I know they got 3 hull, 1 shield. This guy comes, Obi-Wan comes with 3 force. Jedi Knights just come with one. What did the other one come
so
with?
Mace Windu, his ability says after you fully execute a red maneuver, recover one force. So his abilities is pretty cool. So if he does a red maneuver, he gets to regen one of his force. He has ability. His force though is 3. He has 3 force, 1 shield, 3 hull, 3 agility, and 2 attack. They're only a 2 attack. They're like a A-wing.
So he does red maneuvers, he gets the force back.
Yeah.
Now on their fine-tuned control, after you fully execute a maneuver, you may spend 1 force to perform a boost or barrel roll.
Yeah.
What if it's a red maneuver?
You can still spend the force is still able to be used, right? So his red maneuver would get him back 1. But
This isn't your action doing this.
that fine-tuned controls is not an action. The fine-tuned control is not an action.
It's just an ability.
It's just an ability.
Oh, Mace Windu also gets 3.
Yeah, he has 3 as well. Now, one of my favorite pilots, and probably the Jedi's most popular pilot, is Plo Koon. And his ability, he's a PS5, and it says at the start of engagement phase, you may spend 1 force and choose another friendly ship at range 0 to 2. If you do, you may transfer 1 green token to it or transfer 1 orange token from it to yourself. So, Plo Koon can disperse other unusable tokens with his force to other pilots, or he can take an orange, like a disarmed token or something like that, and he can take it to himself, and which then allows that person to fire or do whatever they want. And then the last one, which I really can't...
And he's 2 force.
And he's 2 force, yeah. And the last person can't pronounce his name too much is Saisi Tin. It's a really weird name. But
Saisi
Tin. I have no idea. I've never heard of
But
it.
he gets 2 force and he's a 4 pilot.
He's a 4 pilot.
After a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 reveals its dial, you may spend 1 force. If you do, set its dial to another maneuver of the same speed and difficulty. So these guys are really set up to work in a group.
Yeah, so what happens is with the, and that's why they have them like with the Torah fighters, right? So you like you have Obi-Wan, he can disperse stuff. You have Plo Koon, which can take tokens and stuff away from these guys.
Yeah, the Saisi Tin lets you change a dial.
Lets you change a dial. So as the Jedis, we know, right? The Jedis work together to help whoever they're with, right? To achieve their goals. So they work together to try to make that successful. The next one is the torrent fighters, the little guys here. I'll give you some. I'll let you read these ones actually.
Well, let me take a look here. Let's see. You get 2 of the gold squadrons, which are just the generic pilots here. Then let's see. They roll 2 attack dice and 2 defense dice, and they only have
3 hull.
Yeah, no 5.
Oh, 5 hull. That's right. So it's like a headhunter, but with no shields. They have an extra.
Yeah, they get a focus, an evade, target lock, a barrel roll,
Into an evade.
Well, they can go into an evade to take some stress. It's a red evade. Well, that's not too bad.
So they're a pretty good little ship actually. The only thing is it's to me, I treated them when I played with them. I treat them like TIE fighters, so I always get them evade.
Yeah, but they have a blue squadron, which is a 3 pilot skill.
Yeah, which is one pilot.
Yeah, then you get into the named pilots. I always like to start from the bottom. You got Tucker here. After a friendly ship at range 1 to 2 performs an attack against an enemy ship in your arc, you may perform a focus action. Why would you want to perform a focus action? Oh, so to take an action. So you can get a focus. Okay, well that makes sense. You got swoop.
Yeah, he's pretty cool actually.
After a friendly small or medium ship, well that's interesting because I've never seen him use a base size for an ability like that. After a friendly small or medium ship fully executes a speed 3 to 4 maneuver, if it is in range 1 to 0, I'm assuming of swoop, it may perform a red boost action. That's kind of cool. We got Axe.
Axe
Good,
is pretty cool.
good
actually.
pilot name.
I've played with Axe. He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Actually.
After you defend or perform an attack, you may choose a friendly ship at range 1 to 2 in your, and this is side arcs. So this thing's got a turret on it. These little guys.
Yeah.
It's a turret.
No, there's no turret.
Oh, that's front and rear. Sorry. So it's got a rear shot then.
Yeah.
Okay, so front and rear. If you do, transfer 1 green token.
Oh no,
to
they don't
that
have a rear. They don't have a rear arc.
Well,
It's only the
showing
front.
2
Yeah,
arcs.
it's for their abilities. They say you use the rear arc to be able to use that ability. So like
Oh,
you have the lens in the rear arc so that you can use that ability.
but they don't.
But they don't
They don't have an attack in the rear arc.
No, they only have the front.
So now FFG is using arcs that aren't attack arcs to decide things.
Yeah, so like, but we already knew that with the fact of them doing the new cardboard, the way where they have the 4 arcs actually positioned on the cardboard to be able to see it. So it makes it very defined clarification.
Well, he gets green tokens. That's
yeah, he's
cool.
pretty cool.
You got kickback. I kind of like that name. After you perform a barrel roll action, you may perform a red target lock action. What's their dials like? Sorry.
Their dials are not too bad. They have a lot of red.
They got a lot of red. They got some blue in the 1s, the 2s, and 3s.
So like
I don't know how much red I'd want to take on them, but I haven't flown them.
actually the red's not too bad taking on it. So
And then you have oddball. That sounds like right up your alley.
yeah, I'm pretty much an oddball.
Yeah. After
So-
you fully execute a red maneuver, which isn't really hard on this dial because I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, and half of those I do all the time. Or perform a red action, which you only got the 1 barrel roll into an invade. If there's an enemy ship in your
Front arc.
not front arc, your
Oh, the bullseye.
your bullseye arc, you may acquire a lock on that ship. So you get a free target lock. So if you're good at flying, I mean, you'll be able to take the barrel roll. You can end up with an evade.
Needless to say, I don't play oddball because I'm not very good at.
Yeah, but I'm
tracking
saying
my
if you
bullseye.
fly him right and you do the barrel roll, you get your free evade. So you're going to get stressed. But you can also get a target lock at the same time.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So you take stress, but you get 2 actions out of it. That's not too bad.
No, it's pretty good.
No.
So the cards that come in the set,
Which is a lot.
which is a lot.
Mostly what we
The
already
basic
have.
cards that we already have, like you've got stealth devices and afterburners and electronic baffles and munitions and R5s and R4s and predictive shot and cluster
And
missiles and
all that stuff.
like all the stuff that we've been normally getting. But there is some new additions to this, to them. So
Any good stuff?
we have one called Spare Parts, which
This is for the, because we got the new gas clouds, and I guess the spare parts is for this little blob that I guess it shoots out of one of the Jedi guys.
Yeah.
Equipped, spend 1 energy, and it looks like you can only to recover 1 charge on one of your equipped upgrades. So you can actually recharge him as an action. And as an action, you can spend that energy to drop 1 spare parts. Then break all locks assigned. Well, that's sweet.
So yeah, you
So
put
you
that on there. You drop that spare part,
And you
which
get rid of
ejects it,
Yeah, you
and
get
it
rid of
gets
all
rid
the
of
target
all
locks.
the target locks. So if someone decides to target lock you with all of their target locks, you can offload the spare parts.
I mean, it's not very big. The spare part's about the same size as a dial.
We'll show you when we open it up. Actually,
Like if you see my fingers, you can see just a little bit right there.
we'll open that
About
up.
the size of a dial. Yeah.
But
it is a neat thing. I would actually use that. I think that's cool.
the other thing that was added to this, and it's a configuration card, is the Delta 7B. Now what that does is it adds stuff and takes stuff away from your Delta 7s. So the Delta 7, it allows you to, the Delta 7B card allows you to, it increases your attack instead of to 2 to 3 by having this card on there. It minuses your agility by 1, so you go from a 3 agility to a 2 agility, and it adds 2 shields. So your shields now come. You have 3 shields and 3 hull, which then makes the Delta a little bit more survivable on the board with 3 shields and 3 hull. The only downside is you lose your 3 agility and you go down to 2 agility, but you get an additional attack, which allows you to have an additional.
And you get 2 extra shields. 2 agility will keep you out of trouble in
Yeah,
most cases.
in most cases. And so it's a really good card. The only downside that I found with this card,
Its cost?
its cost is extremely expensive.
How much are they charging on the site for it?
Those, I believe they were 15 points.
Woohoo!
Each one of those were 15 points to put on one of your ships.
These guys are already expensive.
Yeah. So when you're looking at that particular, or see if I can find that one.
Well, just pick one of the fighters. Oh, holy cow! How many builds have you made, my friend?
A few.
Yeah.
So I have that on Luminara, and it's 16 points.
How much is she?
Her herself, she is 70. Well, with everything, she was 77 points. But a single cost for the Athospirit. So Anakin Skywalker is 60 points. Plo Koon is 51. Obi-Wan's 53. Ceci Tin is 44. Mace Windu is 46. Barriss Offler is 43. Luminara is 44. Jedi Knights are 39. And Ahsoka Tano Snips is 47.
So basically, if you want to use this card, you're not flying 4 of them. You're going to be flying 3 of them.
Yes.
Because
So
3 of these cards will be the cost of a ship.
pretty much. So, but
How effective do you think 3 of those are going to be?
I tried that on just one of the Deltas that I was flying, and I found that having that card, particularly on the Delta 7, I found was extremely helpful. Yes, it may have minused my agility, but it gave me a little bit more survivability because I do have the habit of just charging in.
Or it'll give you a chance to do more damage, too.
It does, and it also allows me to give a +1 for damage. So at a short range, instead of rolling 3 dice, I'm now rolling 4 dice. So that makes it comparable to, let's say, an Arc 170, where Arc 170 fires at 4 dice at range 1. So now a Delta fires at range 1, 4 dice. Now you're fighting.
Yeah, and at defense, you get 2 dice, whereas your Arc's only going to get 1.
Correct.
So, and you get a couple more shields.
Yeah, so if you're trying to build a load, if you can try to fit them in there, I recommend it. It's definitely a higher end.
Yeah, it's going to be expensive.
But it's going to be expensive. I do feel that some of the cards that they have, I believe that FFG has made them a little bit too pricey. But more additionals.
Yes and no, because I mean, I've looked at what's come out, and I think the 2 new sets have some really good tricks in them. But I like the fact that they've used cost to keep it in line with the other 5 sets that are already out, like the other 5 factions. Because if the prices on this stuff was too cheap, we'd only see these 2 factions at the tournaments. Like, we probably will anyways, but... What about any of these cards?
Yeah, those are all new cards that have just come out with this.
You got Calibrated Laser Targeting, which takes 2 slots.
So it takes your configuration slot and modification slot.
Yeah. While you perform a primary attack, if the defender is in your bullseye, add 1 focus result. So that's actually pretty sweet. You got Battle Meditation. Sounds like a Jedi kind of garbage.
It is. It's fantastic.
You cannot.
But it's also expensive.
Yeah, you cannot coordinate limited ships. While you perform a purple coordinate action, so we've got purple actions here, which means...
Purple actions are as follows. So when you are, like first, or Obi-Wan has one, actually. Obi-Wan has a purple evade. So for him to be able to get the evade token, he has to spend his force. Then it allows him to do that action. It is your action, so don't think that you can... But it has
a cost to it.
But it has a cost to it.
So with this one, if you do the purple, the action, let's see, for coordinate, you may coordinate 1 additional friendly non-limited ship of the same type. So basically, you only want to fly this if you're doing a swarm full of generics.
The meditation, yeah.
Yeah, you got an R4P17 droid. After you fully execute a
The
red
new droids are
maneuver,
really cool, actually.
yeah, you may spend 1 energy. He's good for 2 to perform an action even while stressed. So well, that makes sense because these guys can get stressed easy, right? Throw on the droid, helps deal with the stress. You got brilliant evasion after you defend, and this one is what? This is one of those.
It's a force card.
That's a force card.
And I really like brilliant evasion. It really works well with the Jedi.
Yeah, while you defend, if you are not in the attacker's bullseye, you may spend a force to change 2 of your focus results to evades.
Yeah, so
that's pretty sweet.
So normally what would happen is you would have to spend 2 force to change you'd have to spend 1 force for every single eye that you have. But with brilliant evasion, you can actually spend 1 force and you can change 2 of them. Over. And you can change 2 of them over.
And if you upgrade it, you're only going to get 2 dice to roll anyway.
And
so it's a backup.
That particular card is only 6 points. Yeah. Brilliant evasion. So I find that it's a really good addition, and I'd probably be playing with that more than I would play with Brilliant with Battle Meditation.
Republic also gets Synchronized Console.
Yeah, which is pretty cool, actually.
After you perform an attack, you may choose a friendly ship at range 1 or a friendly ship with the Synchronized Console card at range 1 to 3. So ideally, this works if you put it on all your ships and not just one of them.
Correct.
And spend a lock you have on the defender. If you do, the friendly ship you choose may acquire a lock. So it's just a way to pass a target lock.
Yes. So what happens is let's say you take this ship and you move it in, and he has the console. That ship target locks first, and this guy has a target lock. So I can say, okay, I didn't use my target lock here. I'm going to use Synchronized Console. I'm going to transfer it over to him so he can get his target lock, which is free, and he might already have a focus. So he now has a target lock and a focus.
I'm also thinking you attack with the first guy, he takes a target lock, right? You attack with them, and you have like normal odds, and you roll 3 hits or 4 hits, and you don't need to use the target lock. You can pass it on to a buddy who can take advantage of it.
Correct.
And really, if you fly a swarm, you can take 1 target lock and pass it between all the ships.
But really, to be honest with you, that's what it seems like the Republic does. It's like, they use their abilities to be able to transfer things
together. Now you've got one that Republic, Dedicated.
Yeah, Dedicated is a pretty good card too.
While another friendly ship is in your
expensive, but good.
Yeah, in your front or rear at range 0 to 2, if it is limited or has the dedicated upgrade and you are not strained, you may gain 1 strain token. If you do, the defender re-rolls one of their blank results. So basically, this is just a way to help one of your buddies out.
Yeah.
You strain yourself so that they can re-roll one of their crappy rolls.
It's a talent. It's a talent skill. So whether it gets used a lot, I don't know. But if you're flying normal ships, it's...
Well, I just noticed from the cards, I mean, you got the one upgrade that drops its shields or whatever it is, its evade, and to boost up its attack. But in the chemistry of the build and the cards, they're kind of giving you the tools to deal with that. So that's kind of sweet. And then, of course, the R4P Astromech, which looks like just a generic guy. Before you execute a basic maneuver, you may spend 1 energy, and you get 2 energies on this thing. If you do, while you execute that maneuver, reduce its difficulty. So that's actually kind of sweet, because again, you have dials with lots of red maneuvers, and you got a way to ignore it twice. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, I had the privilege of being able to fly these ships on Sunday, and I really enjoyed being able to fly them. I had a lot of fun.
That's right. That debris is the same size as a dial, so that's kind of nice.
So one of the other new rules that have been added to the additional rules added to the game is strife. So the strife token is a little diamond. It's a red token. You can't really see it. It's too small. But it's like an arrow head that has like
a circle around it.
And it's got like shaded color and then a filled-in color.
Yeah.
The way strife works is once you have a strife on your ship, which there's like 2 or 3 cards or 4 cards with both new factions that has the strife ability or has you add it to your. Way it works is if you have one of these on your ship, it works like a stress. It will be removed by blue maneuver, or when somebody shoots you. So as soon as someone attacks you, if you have a strife on your ship, it can fall off when they attack you.
But you only lose 1 strife.
But you only lose 1 strife.
If you do a blue maneuver, do you lose all your strife or just 1?
You lose 1 strife every time.
So
but the only other downside with the strife is if you actually have a strife, you actually also lose an agility.
Yeah.
So if you have a ship that has 1 agility and you have a strife on him,
he has no agility.
He has no agility.
What if he has multiple strife? Does he lose 1 agility for each strife?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
Well, let's take a look here at new rules and the instruction thing. A ship is strained while it has 1 or more strain tokens.
Strain.
Yeah, strain tokens are red tokens. Yeah, we see that. While a strained ship defends, it rolls 1 fewer defense die. After a strained ship defends or executes a maneuver, it removes 1 strain token. So it looks like it doesn't matter if you have 1 or 19. You're rolling 1 die and it removes.
So if you have like 2 or 3 of those strife on your ship, you are rolling -1 for every single die that you have.
Yeah, this little spare parts thing, which, like I said, is the same size as the dial. So if you see one dropped, just imagine it being a dial for spacing. Fly around it. Works the same as a debris cloud.
Yeah, same way. So you drive. If you end up through it, you end up stressing yourself, and you end up having to roll for critical, which will then you take a damage.
You can still get a shot.
But you can still get a shot through it.
Yeah. You want to go over the gas?
The gas clouds. These, I have started playing with them. I love them. I think it's a great addition to the game. When you land through these,
small though.
Yeah, when you land through these, you don't take any damage. So you don't have to take a roll for any damage, which is probably the reason why I'm probably playing with them. But once you have through it, like if you shoot through it, you can shoot through it, but the person that is on the other side of that cloud, that is on there, gets to change one of his blank results to an evade. So if you're fighting against a TIE fighter, and you have this cloud here, and you're on one side, and the TIE fighter's on the other, the TIE fighter, if he gets a blank, can change it into an evade, so it just makes other defenders a little bit more, a little bit more survivable. But I also like it because it doesn't do any damage. You can land on it, you can go through it, and there's no problems. So
yeah, and the defender also rolls 1 additional defense die. So they get to roll 1 additional die, the same as everything else.
Yeah.
But they get to turn one of their blank results to an automatic evade. So, I mean, that odds are you're going to beat, everybody rolls a blank, usually in their mix. So,
yeah, so like so if you're at range 3 and you're firing through this cloud, you automatically get an additional 1 dice for the range 3. So now you get an additional dice through the cloud, so now it's 2 additional dice. So if someone's rolling 3 dice, they can end up rolling 5 dice.
And odds are you have blank turns into an evade.
It'll help you out.
Yeah.
So,
but they're so small.
They're small. They're good. They're about medium size, I think.
I like to play with the big guys, but
these are about medium size. I really think that the additions to these particular ships, adding the flavor that they are adding to the thing is fantastic.
Sure.
The way the ships look are really good. Like the design is really good. It's clean. It's very, you can tell the ship is like, it looks like a good looking ship. But I mean, FFG usually does pretty good with their models, anyways.
Yeah.
So
overall, you happy?
you know what? I'm ecstatic. I love the fact that the Republic, and I'll be honest with you, is probably going to be my main faction. Yes, I still love the Rebels. Don't worry, Rebels. But I'm not, you know. But I really am enjoying playing with the Jedis and clones, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what I'm going to be able to do with them.
Well, and the ARC 70s are your main.
Yes.
You love those ships.
We'll be doing another video with
Jedi
one of my
fighters.
best ships.
You love these Jedi fighters.
So I've already made a couple of loadouts where I had a loadout where I made 3 arcs and a delta. So I already have a loadout where I have them. So I'm flying both of the ships. I'm looking forward to playing around with them and seeing what I can accomplish.
Well, our next video, we're going to open up what?
We're going to open up the Anakin Skywalker's Delta 7
and his Delta,
and the ARC 170 Republic ship.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what's in those boxes. So on that note, watch the next video. We'll see you in a bit.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.